a little different reveal for whatever this is, but we're gonna talk about why leo12scar12 calls it life discussions. A lot of what you encounter with anything in the this is gonna sound a little muffled if I'm holding it like this, but it's okay. Um, a lot of what you'll encounter in the spaces, like when I was in high school speech and debate, and then even if I could have been before that, there was one in middle school, but I didn't get to be in that one. A little different. And then if you have any like encounters with people who actually legitimately just want bare bones content on YouTube, they just go for like maybe stereotypically entertainment and comedy and informative content. They do the edutainment route maybe, or education and content for entertainment purposes respectively. Then you meet other people in real life. Well, what's the way to live as a human being? You make money to make a living. You don't have to do anything else other than just have fun, survive. You just be a person, make things simple, easy enough, right? Those are the people that you think of as being objectively and realistic and objective reality, and even like necessarily not holistic, but still in their own world otherwise. And that's when you come to like things like, okay, so then why is it that whenever I find examples, and this is personal for me too, but like why is it that when you find examples of people who represent everything I want to believe, is that confirmation bias, or is it just because like I actually manifest those people in my life, which you did, by the way, manifest those people. There's no doubt about that. But is it so much that you happen to see all the good examples you want to see, the people who trust you the way you want to be trusted, and still give you what you want without being guilt free anyways, and you still make an effort to change? When you're lucky, when you're lucky and fortunate enough to, because not even fortunate is supposed to be fake, right? But when you're fortunate enough to see people like that, when you make the most of those people and you're still able to make the most of your own life, even when it's hard, why does that happen? And I think it's because we truly do. The universe does not give us too much of anything that we don't know how to handle, or can't even like make the most of anyways, either it's good or bad. And I think even more than that, we get more than what we want and what we want. So we meet our expectations and get surprised at the same time. When I draw this back to the question, if leo12scar12, the one people on my extrovert multitasker feed list, he's one of the people who talks about these videos where he does every once in a while called life discussions. He talks about life in the questions and philosophies and advice about life itself, and even the things that we understand about life contextually speaking, when he calls it life discussions. And it's like, what does leo12scar12 mean by life discussions? He's talking about life philosophy in particular. He's talking about things where you just address a problem in life the best possible way without judgment, but still giving direct advice. And he does this in a very elegant way. Like even compared to like Spin Cycle, which I didn't link yet, Spin Cycle MKV, where Spin Cycle talks about like kinds of content that he would, where he does seem anxious a lot of the time, but he still gives really good input and advice and insight. And so like compared to that kind of energy, I made my conscious about those people particularly. But the thing with with Leo is that, yeah, he might seem a little slow. He might seem a little too in his own world, maybe even not even necessarily accurate for what he's telling you, even in a blunt sense, even in a critical lens of mine. But that doesn't place me any lower or better than him. Like we're all in this together. It's all good. And I think it's like with Leo, it's like his advice. Like there's one video he made in particular, like the video about 5 signs you're a smart person. This guy's got it good. It's like the ideas that he has to share. Like I wasn't specific about that, but he'll list things in lingo. He'll accurately remember how to list them. He maybe has his bullet list right next to him, but like or wherever he's reading off of. If he has to, if he doesn't have to read off anything, that's pretty good anyways. But Leo12 is not wrong about life discussions being a topic. It's like because this doesn't get addressed properly to begin with. Like the ideas about life itself. Like, as I mentioned about speech and debate in high school. You don't. There are my friends of mine who talked about how these things were usually thought about before, like the actual self and the ideal self, and the idea of there being a short-term, long-term memory span kind of thing, stuff like that, where it's not so much the freedom of speech aspect or even just knowing that there are ideas to be shared in the first place. Oh, you never want to lose your free speech, or you never want to lose your voice. Oh, the horror when people who say that crap don't even know what they're talking about. And by all means, it is inherently obvious that losing your freedom of speech sucks, but when you describe it in such a way where you're like, but why would it be a bad thing to lose your freedom compared to anything else? Well, even as someone who believes that convenience does not override freedom, I still think people weaponize freedom the wrong way, even when they mean well. So it's like a different amalgam of that. We're gonna go for one more minute. Maybe 6 minutes or 6 minutes 40. But this is being addressed in a way that I don't even think Leo's 12 Scar 12 has to say it, but I'll say it for this one. The idea of discussing life isn't to give examples about a context of life that everyone thinks they can agree with. The reason that this is invigorating isn't to describe life in a way that can only be good or that can only be drawing strength from. Like, I kept talking about Ice Cold JT and Jordan Green before. Or it's like, it doesn't have to only be invigorating, it doesn't have to only be about just the things that make it count, where you put in the effort where it's due. Because even when Rob Mulder describes self-improvement, he's saying, like, self-improvement isn't about improving anything objectively, it's about improving all areas of your life in your own way. In a way that still helps you ultimately in the long run. So it's like, it happens to be good because it's good for that person. But it can still be objective if it has to be, but it's good for that person nonetheless. That is the diamond slipper that it has to be, is if it is objective. But even without that diamond slipper, the reason it helps that person is because it helps that individual's certain circumstances. And so, what I would say for those last 40 seconds is that life isn't about only being experienced, but it's not only about having your identity either. I think you want to combine the identity and the experience. You want to be someone who both lives their experiences, new or not, novel or not, while still understanding who they really are, further into their shadow, Carl Jung style, and still shining a light on the darkness that they have, and accepting who they are while also changing for the better. You want to experience your life and still change anyway, right? That kind of thing. So take care, everyone. This has been a Valentine's Day upload for 2024, while Leap Year Day comes in at the same time, 29th. Whatever that means.